We're going the full distance in our last match of the day as Godsent test FaZe on the battlegrounds of Nuke. Crystal's men even things up with a convincing 16-11 victory and leaves us at our final destination of Inferno. Of course, before all of that can kick off, we are breaking it down. And by we, I mean myself, Maniac, and Maui. And that T-side from Godsent would be kicking things off with Maui. They looked incredibly in control and they were impressing us from the very beginning.
Yeah, that was a pretty one-sided affair, actually, all things considered. FaZe in that half, at one point, were down 3-9, and 2 of those 3 wins that they had were off of pistol. So it didn't look like FaZe could really find any level of consistency. But Godsent, on the other side, they showed us that there's a reason they picked Nuke as their map. Their thoroughness was impressive.
Yeah, they looked like they knew every corner of that map in thorough detail, including a moment that you have to break down for us, Maniac. Didn't end so well for Brooky in this one.
No, he had a tough life, and I have a clip right here. And I'm kind of sitting in between laughing and just, appreciating the Counter-Strike of it. Just look at Brooky's life, trying to go outside with the AWP. This is round number 13. Let's count the nade. That's already 2 grenades he gets into his face. That's the 3rd one coming in. He's got 50 HP. He didn't have any time to do anything whatsoever. There's now a Molotov coming his way. He has to use his own smoke to stay alive. Nico is completely denied by flashes. There's going to be another flash coming into Brooky's way, another Molotov, and another one, and another one. And Brooky could do absolutely nothing with his AWP. That right here, that might be just a funny moment, and at the end of the day, FaZe Clan is going to win that round, but it kind of illustrates all the work that's been put in together by Godsent in terms of utility. Maui, they were all over the place.
Yeah, I need one of the content creators on Twitter to just come back with that, show Brokey's perspective, and then DJ Khaled like, and another one, and another one, and another
Just exactly
one.
that.
And all the nades are just flying at him constantly.
That was so sad for him. I felt bad, but we have to give it to Godsent. I mean, the way they approached his T-side on Nuke, that was very thorough, very disciplined, and very optimized.
Yeah, it was incredibly impressive to be starting off from then. I do want to flip over onto that second half, though, because Maniac, we were watching it and we were seeing, FaZe showing some flickers of life. The individuals were starting to step up, but then that train just completely derailed once again.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable about that. First of all, you're right. The individuals did wake up on the CT side. We started to see some glimpse of hopes. Rain, Nico finding some key headshots, and I started to think to myself, that's it. They're going to come back into the game. They're activated. But a couple of rounds, specifically versus pistol force buys, they've dropped the ball massively twice, once against the Clock, once against the Eagles, Stico making plays, and that was just enough for Godsent to close the map. And now we're moving on to Inferno, and it's your FaZe Clan where you gotta pull yourself together, because Godsent, they're definitely coming in ready.
Yeah, they are indeed. And I'm wondering if you're Godsent, Maui, who are you particularly looking at? If you want to be continuing that momentum that you found on Nuke going into that 3rd and final map, because it's open for anybody to be taking now.
Yeah, I would really love to see Farlig do a little bit more of what we saw at the very end of that game where he found that ace with the op. I mean, they're going to need to find those kinds of opening picks with that kind of aggression if they want to take down FaZe, because FaZe's Inferno has looked pretty good lately. They took down OG in a very convincing match at 16-5, and they beat out Vitality, and Vitality is really consistent at Inferno. So both of those victories make me think FaZe is definitely favored going into this 3rd map. Godsent, they're going to have to find some kind of X factor here.
Well, a lot of action going down here on the A stream, but we've also got a lot going down over on our B stream. It's also been pushed to 3 maps here, gentlemen. NIP having the advantage in Inferno, Maniac. And I heard you saying you're looking pretty positive for the NIP side of things.
Yeah, they look to be quite in control. 14-7 scoreline. Again, NIP, a team that I'm looking forward to having. I hope we're going to cast them at some point. Both of these teams will make it to the playoff. I mean, it's only a question about upper bracket, lower bracket. There's definitely one option that looks better than the other.
It definitely is indeed. And of course, that's exactly the same as what our teams here are duking it out for. It's going to be going to a 3rd, and it's Inferno coming up after this.
we got a little bit loud towards the end, but I think it might have been worth it. FaZe topping out that last map with a beautiful ace. And now it's time to see what he can get done on Inferno. FaZe Clan as well have had a few great moments themselves in the past few days on that very map, but can they do it again over here? They had a fantastic performance over against OG a while back. Michael, what are you thinking we're going to see from them here?
Yeah, I mean, entering the third map here in a spectacular fashion for Godsent. Again, they seem to have these lifelines constantly brought forward by pistols, and Inferno is another one of those maps that you can really fall victim to it if you're FaZe. I don't know what the correct response is. No team seems to have been able to crack that code because Godsent get away with it time and time again. And I mean, you could even see the look at the sigh of relief that Godsent have when you cut to the player cams towards the end of that second map. They were just really looking for a breath of fresh air, stepping away from the game. Now they're all cheers and smiles as they're prepping for this third map. I think this could go very, very close. It'll be a battle between all these set protocols we know Godsent like to run on that T side, and whether FaZe can do anything to disrupt that flow.
And it was all entirely coming down to Nico in that previous game, along with Martin. The two of them were leading the charge time and time again, but I mean, obviously some help sprinkled in from the rest of the players, and an AWP base does help, but I'm looking forward to seeing what those two can do on Inferno as well. They're actually generally very impactful anyhow, so add even more to the tally. Yes, please.
Well, we'll see FaZe start on the CT side. Brooky with the dualies. There's a couple of flashes on Nico. Where else do you expect Brooky to be with these weapons in hand? They're lining up for the pop flash play. It's all about the timing here for FaZe.
Rain, nice flick attempt, but doesn't quite land it. And it will be Brooky instead of flash forward, and the dualies looking a bit comical as quite a few shots are missed, and Rain is tagged through the corner of that wall, straight to the dome. That one goes as he's given another chance to peek out. He's not had the best of games so far, and hopefully he can start picking it up on Inferno. Nico and Zen are... Yeah, that is the big problem. Zen has a tendency to do this, but it seems like they have finally figured it out. Zen will see and get a kill regardless. Rain will finally respond with one of his own, but they're jumping into him, and his arms cannot bear that burden. The bomb is still on its way over, but unfortunately for Coldzera, he can't quite catch it off. And with this, Kirby had to be the one to interrupt, but instead he's just had his bell rung.
Yeah, Cold now moving in. High HP on him, so look for potential frags right back. They're closing the distance, closing that gap. Farley springing through with the dualies, recovered from the opposition, and Kirby 2 HP. The headshot angle could certainly work in his favor, but the flash is delaying him even further. No kit available. The time is of the essence, and Martin puts the last bullet necessary to secure the pistol for Godsent. We see that from Martin and Zen alike. It seems like Zen is like the dialed back version of Martin, where Martin is just constant aggression. Zen picks his moments a little bit better, but that flank towards spawn just made it so much more difficult to FaZe to operate around. You can see Nico on the boost after he missed that initial shot. That was enough for Godsent to crack the site.
Zen's a bit like James Bond, and Martin is like Chuck Norris. One goes in with a roundhouse kick and the other one gets in behind you. But either one is indeed deadly. You chuckle away at Chuck. Cold goes with the initial peek, but he is just forced to smoke it off. This time, I'm very curious to see if we can actually get the team that won the pistol round having another victory immediately after. It seems to be very unlikely with how things have gone so far, but you never know. You never know.
Oh,
Nico,
beautiful lead, but
shot.
Nico, what a start.
And he's going to be looking to follow it up with more. He has been tagged up slightly, but you can say the same for all of Godsent's players. The wall of smokes is not particularly helpful, and the fake plant will force out some positions. And as they realize where they are, they're now railing back towards that A-bomb site where Kirby has been found in the transition. Coldzera is the only person on the site now. Can he defend?
Nico to lead, low HP. Cold does decapitate him, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange. They can pick up that Galil as well, so primarily still have those rifles alive. That rotation from Godsent has left FaZe in a precarious spot. These longer rotations required. Nico has to be so concerned about a lurking presence as well.
Martin, meanwhile, just wants to make this as clean as humanly possible. Knows that Brooky is around the corner and he's forced to drop because of it. Farleg, who gets some information, sets up for Zen to get a kill as well. Martin peeking out, does catch off Nico, so it seems like they will at least keep their 3 players alive, which is generally the magic number. And Brooky says, you know what? The Deagle's not too bad to save either. It starts off with a nice kill from Nico, but I like Godsent's decision to move back. FaZe, who had over-rotated somewhat towards the B-bomb side, are also punished for it. So nicely done all in all by Godsent.
And that's all created an opportunity by putting down that wall of smokes towards the front of the site, tapping the bomb, and then just running it back because there was the fast flank available. That was Kirby that gets caught in transition. It doesn't read into what FaZe Clan were going to go for in that late round, given that they knew where the bomb was.
Oh, that night could have been very chunky had Farleg misstepped even a little bit, but instead it seems to be that they're going for their bread and butter. Apartment stake on Godsent's side. Cole Zera has been taken down. Crystal to be the one to take his life away. And Godsent generally have this down to a T, and of course it helps when you're going up against an eco round, but they're already looking good in their start. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, is that FaZe, the way they have shown they like to play Inferno, is very defensive on the A-bomb side. They're generally not very keen, as Nico gets himself a couple of nice kills, they're generally not very keen to move in down second mid, move into mid itself. It's very different to the FaZe of old, and nice kill from Nico. He's really feeling it. And because of this, the apartment stake that Godsent generally goes for, which is very low utility anyway, becomes all the more efficient and all the more impactful. So I'm very worried actually about this A site.
Yeah, I suppose we're expanding on that point where we've talked about it through the group stages. We've mentioned how Godsent like to go very protocol dependent for the first 30, 40 seconds of a round and then work from there. But if they start to get aggressive into the apartments, maybe try and catch Godsent out where they're not initially engaging in those protocols, then there may be these chances that start to swing open and cascade out of control should FaZe Clan recognize it. But that all comes down to homework being done, whether they have maybe recognized a tell for when Godsent are going for these, because they will throw it here and about. Sometimes it is Nico just by himself working the apartment slowly. Sometimes it's faster plays towards Banana. Of course, changing things up makes things a lot more difficult for that CT side to make predictions. Of course, predictions will be aplenty for Godsent. They'll know that Brooky will be on that AWP. It's a 3-man play towards Banana early. It's like they're going to position themselves up for a bit of a later take here on this CT side.
I mean, Brooky being this aggressive, this seems to be something that should work out for them. Retake is not being set up. They're just going dry, but dry is not good enough. Crystal finds 2 with the Mac 10. Catches off players with nade in the hand and an op that is rescoping. Nico with 2 kills, looks for 3 and does find them. And it all comes down to Nico. He has to clutch it out in a 1v3. We've seen him be good for this, and he does have the bomb in time. So perhaps there is a possibility, but even that will be increasingly difficult because of how Cold is positioned. But look at Nico. He's going all the way over towards apartments. Cold might not be expecting this, and Nico's played this perfectly, but can he actually find it? He's running all the way. Cold will hear him, and as a result of that, is expecting it and takes his life away. But Nico, what a defense.
Yeah, after both of these players go down to the Mac 10, Nico had to come up big with a multi-kill. So the first frag found on Crystal, of course, leading that charge with the SMG, and Godsent offer him up 1v1 duels. No spacing to allow proper trading on the T side. They weren't really sure if they wanted to fully commit to it either.
Yeah, and the flash was also delayed, so the second peak came right before the flash actually popped, so some slight miscommunication alongside. Nico, over in apartments, has very quickly actually progressed forward, and now he lost to hold this angle. This angle is generally really useful whenever there's an op who likes to go to short and will rotate back because of a flashbang thrown over. So he generally likes to hold this angle around then, but obviously this time over slightly different circumstance. Maybe he's expecting the op. Maybe he just wants to have some more information for how they're playing. But look at Farlig. Boosted up on top of logs. Could maybe find someone out. Rain peeks forward. He's good for one, but the trade is instant. Zen to take it away. And now it's Nico and Brooky to try and defend.
Look at what Godsent are doing. Moving back towards the A site. There's a gap that has begun to form towards A. Kirby trying his best to plug up that hole. The potential to wrap the arches. Pick the site from there. The smoke will be timely. 30 seconds left for Godsent to get a move on into the site. They're doubling down. They're committing to the crossfire.
Nico's chucked out the one-way smoke that gives him so much more space to work with. Kirby's fully flashed, but Cold Sarah is not. Both him and Kirby are able to delay them long enough to leave Crystal in a compromised position and Farlig in a 1 versus 2. 14 seconds means ample time to plant, but not ample time to reposition, as the CT side have made their way over. And as they circle around this corner, Farlig is waiting for them. This is so nicely played, but he's put the op away. Are they going to be expecting him to have crossed all the way to Graveyard? They've got to have an idea, but this is so difficult to actually re-peek into this angle. He's heard them coming over. He knows they're right next to him. He's held the trigger, but not for long. And with this, it's a straight 1v1. Nico does get scouted out. Farlig knows he's not gone for the defuse. And now Nico has to play this perfectly. Farlig has moved out, zoomed in, but can't quite get the kill. Won't need
Nico,
to, though.
no time.
As Nico backs off. No time. Yes, but can he recover the op? Is my question.
Oh, where is the bomb thrown that weapon? Okay, it's still in graveyard, so Nico gets his hands on it.
Really nicely played from Farlig to recover.
Yeah, that's a risk to be taking for sure, though. They wanted to play it with the numbers advantage, doubling up. They know he has the open play. And a crucial amount of position gained there by Farlig in the clutch. Sure, he doesn't hold on to his weapons, so that means the money for Godsent, the investment, will mean that the AWP is not a factor in the follow-up round. More on this T side. Nico peering in with the AWP in his possession. Not going to be gifted anything.
And a B-slot hit over here would be incredibly well placed. And Modern loves to do this. Modern loves to just creep on forward and go past the point before they've even let out a smoke. But Rain will punish, although he is traded. Nico left in the back lines, always a lurk. And FaZe Clan seems like they'd rather actually save the Deagles. Maybe try and find a straggler over towards mid.
Not picking off stragglers is what Stiko will do instead. Kirby very isolated. Brooky may get the drop on him. Oh, I think just narrowly spotting the head. So Stiko has that information that they're in the apartment, so he can hunt these Deagles down. The priority is taking the AWP away, making sure that they don't get their hands on these rifles if possible. He's getting a little bit awkward there for Stiko, and he recognizes it. He doesn't want to give this over to that CT side. The economy much harder to manage on the defensive end. Interestingly enough, nobody goes Nico's direction, so no problems for him to bring the AWP into the follow-up.
It is a little bit hunting for Eco-Frags from Stiko, I'm not going to lie, but in another game, we actually have a 1v2 going on to see if Diha can keep Sprout alive in this, and it seems like it will not be the case. NIP will win the game, and with that, the series, and they will proceed forward to the upper bracket. Sprout are not eliminated, they are going to be in the lower bracket, but the question is, which team from Godsent and FaZe can be joining NIP over up top?
Well, they found the pick they wanted. That AWP saved a couple rounds over, has finally borne fruit. Arden's gone down early. That's the typical entry fragger here for Godsent. They trade that role fairly often, but Nico, ability to take the shot full back to the side, has a teammate to back him up on the retreat as well. And Godsent, they're looking to capitalize, break through with this AWP. They know where he is.
And Reigns found the first, but he's traded so often. Nico trapped away inside a smoke of his own creation with a nade right at his feet. This will not be easy, and although he finds a kill courtesy of Brooky's flashbang, he's even got a little date in the smoke, and that date is right behind him. Zen's looking, why in the world? I will... There have been 3 different teams so far that we have seen who have gone for unnecessary knives, and they just end up losing out on kill because of it. What a performance from Nico, though. And a great flashbang from Brooky.
Making use of the smoke to perfection, but I mean, that's a misstep from Zen. Sure, he's in a 1 versus 4. It's not looking likely. I guarantee the frags, man, do damage to that CT side economy.
Wow.
Wow, Crystal alone did more. Okay.
Yeah, that's just the big brain of Crystal coming in. That is...
Maybe it had to do with all that, another one that the analysis desk were talking about.
It's
limiting
true.
The effectiveness of Brooky.
It is true. And well, Brooky's efficacy has also been somewhat limited over here. He's sitting on 2 and 4 right now. AWP pulled out, yes, but Godsent, maybe they start to give him some eco frags because they have gone for more deagles and a couple of grenades here and there. But well, with Crystal's track record, you never know. Maybe this is going to be a 400 damage nade coming in.
And Brooky has been quiet this series as a whole. It has primarily been Nico. They put a lot of reliance on Brooky to sometimes come up clutch for the side. Hasn't been given too many opportunities to perform in those moments. Nico has been dependable, at least versus Godsent.
The one good thing about what I think Godsent have going for them so far, in particular, is that Stico hasn't been exploited yet. So FaZe are somewhat leaving a hole towards their brackets defense, but eventually they are going to start to feel more comfortable, maybe going for an aggressive apartments play. You can even see in this round they're perhaps expecting and awaiting for a fast abs push out, but for now it will just be a quick setup for B. Are we going to see the double nade down here? Doesn't look like it will be the case. Nico backs off and double nade is there, but it's all the damage onto Rain. Zen will take him down. Nico with the USB is good for a kill. The nade to follow through will keep the nade. Oh, wow. Nico. Beautiful shot. Even denies the bomb. So they can't get a plant over here. Money that they were trying to gain is going to be too far out of their reach. Brooky on the secondary AWP is feeling worried about being pushed in by the B250, and that's why he pulls out the deagle and comes out on top.
Confident fights from Nico. They're taking the site, switching to the USP. Like you said, denying that bomb plant would have allowed more money to flow for the Godsent side. And they make the compromise. Rifles out. They could have got the AWP out on Farley, but would have left there by a little bit more weakened. Far more reliance on him to perform. They spread out their laurels instead. More rifles prioritized.
This is really interesting. Brooky's actually gone directly into its second mid along with 2 other players, and it's the only round where Stico hasn't gone for abs control. Instead, this seems to be a full B-side hit being set up, which would be the worst possible timing. And with Rain smoking it off, we know Martin's going to be fine with going through it. Crystal on the Mac 10 along with Martin come around the corner. Nico trades, and it's good for it. But by the time that comes in, the smoke will be there with it. Now, they do have a lot of nades and a lot of molotovs, so getting the bomb plant in will be next to impossible. They need some heroics and a great nade and an even better molotov. Time to perfection to deny any sort of possibility for the bomb to be planted.
And they were slow taking the site. That front site smoke that they've been using time and time again keeps them delayed. Now Farley trying to clear a path, and he does it. The double kill towards Banana, so the advantage is now flipped. They have a stable place to stay in the post plants as well, but Brooky sitting inside the smoke equalizes, and they're back towards A. They did this before, but they tapped the bomb previously to enable it, but FaZe still not going to be fast enough on the rotations to beat them.
They picked up the double op, and they want to go for this 2v2 with it. Strange is really putting it lightly, but we'll have to see how this goes. An M4 is at least recovered from Nico, so he does have that to work with. And a Molotov would be very well placed if he can find it. Unfortunately, though, Farley, who has been the savior of this round so far, will come in with a backstab, and Brooky says, "This is why I saved the op." And picks it up and will run away with it. FaZe Clan. A round where they go for a gamble stack over towards A. This is the only round so far where they've tried to counter Stico's aggression towards apartments, maybe even generally expecting and going for a read for second mid, but it works out so heavily against them. Godsent plays that perfectly. I don't know if that was a read or anything, but it's just really nice.
Yeah, it's a good reaction for FaZe, but it's a better one from Godsent, and one that neither of them had information of, so it had to just be a feel for what was going on, or just a hard read. Like you said, I don't know what the flow chart would look like to dictate that kind of a decision made by Godsent, but they set up for it at the start of the round. They were almost in good enough positions as well to punish that super aggression from Madden that we get used to seeing.
This time it seems like the stack from FaZe Clan might actually work out. The 3 smokes already having flown through, but we know how willing they are to rotate back. Will they realize in time? Kirby's already low. Kirby underneath the balcony, but coldzera is fighting from his own box. Finds one, then trades, and Nico makes it one better. Brooky still lower down and will not have freedom to move, putting all the more pressure onto Nico, and Nico can't find anyone to face into. Zen's been burnt down to a crisp. The Molotov to take him into his grave and cremate him alongside. Now Nico's coming from apartments, might not be expected, but with Nico having dropped down, it's much harder to get the kill, but Nico is going to walk right into it. He sees Nico and brings him down. Modern, in the meanwhile, inside the smoke, is playing around with Rain, and that leaves Brooky only to fall. What a round from Nico.
So we've now had Farlig bail them out of a sticky situation. Now it's Nico. Thought Nico would have the advantageous fight. He has the information to play off of. You see those initial entries there from Nico. And just the presence of mind to clear behind. So quickly after he'd given up that position as well. Timeout called actually by Godsent. They have 7 rounds on this T side, close to leading going into the second half. They'd need just 1 more. And FaZe, I mean, they look like they have some responses lined up. They have some ideas as to what they want to do to counteract some of these early engaging protocols from Godsent. But they've been faster paced with it, far more lenient in terms of moving towards the B-bomb site in the early stages of the round instead of working brackets control. Oh, Nico's on 15 frags as well.
Yeah, I just noticed that. And the rest of his team is nowhere close. Rain's got 7, and we criticized him for not having a fantastic game earlier on. The rest of the team isn't even at 5. 10 rounds into it. That is not a good sign. And with an Eco being there, I mean, you can't really imagine things are going to get much better. Double Molotov towards apartments to make sure no one can maybe be stacking, pushing. Nothing of the sort is possible. Farley will find coldzera. And they've got plenty of time to rotate back towards that B-bomb side when Farley gets the kill into Nico as well. Nico and company are just finding information. And Nico's death means that Rain has rotated back as well. FaZe do not feel secure enough to actually stack players onto a site because Godsent have time and time again been yo-yoing back and forth. However, maybe this time the yo-yo will not snap back up. FaZe Clan have got the correct site with the numbers advantage, at least in terms of their own team, but it is still a 2v5. Oh no.
First kill from Rain, he can use and sit behind the smoke. Nico's head presented. Madden able to get one, but Brooky's on the site. He's made that rotation early, but Farlig finally deals with him. It's Kirby. A 1-on-2. There's rifles down in front of him. They might just be out of arm's reach, though. They're contained in towards the side. It's just the MAC-10 that he recovers. The nade, it's a sitter, down to 24 HP. Of course, no armor, so he can't mitigate the damage that's done. And Godsent, they're giving him a lot of respect. They're waiting for the peaks, and Zen finds the timing. Godsent, they get the 8th. It was a limited investment round there from FaZe. They make the right read. They bring it close, but it's just not close enough.
And again, you need to get one of those miracle rounds if you're FaZe at this stage. Godsent, yesterday up against Big Clan, they did flounder and fail on their CT side. They let a 15-10 scoreline get away from them. This time over, they want to be very well secured before they let FaZe Clan get to double digits. And they have so far been so good. A single kit purchased by FaZe Clan in this round, so should Rain go down and anything of the sort comes over towards the other side, then maybe things will get slightly dicier. And so far, with how often Godsent have committed to the B-bomb side for an initial pickoff and then rotated away, I would not be surprised to see that being a possibility.
And this is one of the fears that we'll have coming into this. FaZe now back onto the rifles. They're playing very contained, limited information to play off of. The nade doesn't do that much damage, but it does look like FaZe are looking to aggress. Rain up close behind the smoke. They're doubting themselves, doubling back instead, setting up for the double play, the boost instead at triple. And look at the timing. Godsent are throwing utility. They have to cancel, and now they're running into the site. Rain caught in an awkward set of duels. His position's exposed. He has to die or fall, but Nico goes down instead for his sins. Rain, round the smoke he goes. He gets 2. That's out of nowhere there for FaZe, so it's still equal numbers as they take the site, and Brooky is the only man close.
They just used 2 smokes for coffins, and we'll have to wait to see whether it is punished or not. FaZe in the meanwhile scopes away right at the worst possible time. The CT side has brought him back with a smoke towards Banana, but he's walked right through it and gets the trade onto Kirby for his aggression. Brooky now wants to push in, but FaZe missed the shot. coldzera jumping up is able to evade it, but Zen, he should detect this. Zen has found him, finds the first kill, looking for more. Zen's made Brooky miss, and he will not do the same. 9th round on the board for Godsent. What a clutch from Zen right there, chewing away on his gun, and he is playing perfectly.
And it's the player that's typically the most clutch out of FaZe that he takes down at the end there. Brooky, again, have to highlight him because it feels like he might be a limited point. He's not having the same level of impact we get used to seeing from him on the AWP. How much of that is Godsent just making it as awkward as possible? They're circumnavigating, making him constantly have to rotate. We've seen more AWPing impact from Nico as opposed to Brooky, which is a strange thing to say coming into a map that does feel like the AWP can dictate so much of the pace.
And Nico himself, I mean, he's been the only one delivering numbers. Rain's been actually doing much better in the past few rounds, especially ever since he got the multi-kill with the Deagle. He's been doing fantastically well, but that one in particular, the second Nico goes down and Rain's that low because of the double nade, it's so difficult to work around it. Now, Godsent have put themselves in perfect position, not just for double digits, but to have the potential even for more. Nico so far, what's been very interesting about how he's been lurking over towards apartments is that he generally goes deep into apartments before his team has scaled up Banana, and by the time they've scaled up Banana, he will either play from behind Boiler to see if there's anyone pushing down mid, or he'll go back to second mid entirely. And right now, it will just be a B-side hit into 3 players potentially with a smoke going out. Godsent have made the read. Crystal has a brilliant call. They will not be going over towards the site which has 3 players. Crystal is just reading them like an open book right now. This is so well played by him.
A gap opens towards the arches. That long position that FaZe had left as a result of the rotation. Do they pull the trigger? Do they wait for Stico to activate first? Madden still leading the way, poking and probing with the AK, and the timing is perfect. Kirby had a smoke out, cold on the site, still yet to be cleared out, but limited impact, only the 1 kill. They navigate around the rotations once again. They're pulling them back and forth. You made the comparison of a yo-yo. Sometimes it could look like it's about to hit them in the face, but Godsent have recovered so many of these rounds. FaZe, they need a heroic moment.
This is maybe I'm painting this as an incorrect picture, but because it's been a few years, but this is so reminiscent of how Pronex used to play back in the old school Fnatic. Rain pushing in though, wants to at least find some sort of solace, some sort of comfort. A few kills would be nice as they lean back, but they have found him. Rain will be backing off and falling down. Nothing to be had. Godsent find themselves double digits, and you'll see FaZe Clan still in a position of some weakness. Rain, again, the only player with the kit. Utility's pretty... Okay, Nico has it too. Utility's pretty decent, but FaZe have not gone for any sort of aggressive phase so far. We are not seeing these be confident players.
And you look at the kill distribution for Godsent. Everybody is contributing, sitting at 10 frags. The only one that lags behind slightly is Crystal. But he's working his players around the map. You know, his brain is committed to other tasks because at the moment he seems to have unlocked additional capacity. More than 100%.
Yeah. It's Chess Master Crystal, man.
I do like the decision from FaZe, though. At the start of the round, clearing out bottom banana, making sure that they're not in towards logs or that close cubby position. Also, if they want to go back towards B, we'll have to work that area slow. Farlig is getting given opportunities, and he has punished them for investigating that direction in the past. Brooky, finally, a pick with the AWP to start off the round. An advantage for FaZe to work with.
And Cold Zera's position is fantastic. They're playing anti-flash, but they're not playing anti-cold. This leaves two players on the Godsent side to try and clutch it out. Their money is actually somewhat weak, so on Modern at least. So a bomb plant would not be terrible, and boosts up. Maybe Farley can find something. However, Nico seems to be expecting it. He will catch him off, and Stiko will be soon to fall. A clean slate for FaZe Clan, as they do not lose a single player. Perfect round for them, especially going into one where, you know, now Modern doesn't have that much money. You have only a $1,400 loss bonus in that one. Sure, everyone else can buy around him, and Modern's more than happy to be dropped over as Crystal can get a Mac 10, but you know, you see the utility now bleeding just a little bit too much, maybe. How do Godsent play around where they don't have all their tools?
Yeah, a slight crack in the door opens up, and they're hoping to swing it wide open. That boost, perfect. Fantastic shot for Nico to get the round going. It's this double up setup. Brooky last round, Nico starts it off well, but they don't have any idea that Madden's up close. Almost catching the timing. The nade does significant damage. Meanwhile, Brooky's found a pick with his own AWP. So again, Godsent at a significant man disadvantage. 3 players left, some of them tagged down low, and they only have Banana to play with.
Nico, scoped in. Beautiful shot onto Crystal. Intercepts his skull and leaves just Zen, as Rain will himself also chime in. And it will be the 5th round for FaZe Clan. They have been beaten, battered, but not brought down. We'll be back with the second half to see if Godsent can close it out.
To the left.
I've seen this movie before. FaZe have their backs against the wall, but they've somehow managed to bring it back to 5. We saw this exact same story unfold on Nuke, but maybe the difference can be Nico and his performance so far, sitting on 18 and 7. Michael, you and me, Cassidy, with me on the microphone as always. How is this going to go?
Well, it all starts with a pistol, as many a tale do. Nico, utility over towards Banana. They have a Molotov for a post-plant situation, but they may not get there. Madden shutting them down before they enter the site. 2 quick kills. They don't clear the boost as well, so it starts off exceptionally well for Godsent on the defensive end. They've called for the rotations as well. They still have Nico lingering over towards the A-bomb site, but Nico and Cold now in a very difficult position.
I would have loved to see them barrel through the smoke to try and deny the bomb plant, but it's always so dangerous. Nico and Cold, close range angles at least give them the advantage that it will be a one-shot headshot. Cold's arrow will not get that though until it's too late and he's been traded, but Nico has found 2 beautiful frags. Unfortunately for him, Stiko's still able to put him down, and despite making it somewhat competitive, FaZe Clan are still going to suffer a loss in the pistol.
God, with what we've seen from Nico this map so far, this series as a whole, I was very prepared for him to just whip something out of thin air. What a start here. Madden, first kill on Rain, the fall away through the smoke as well. That put FaZe in a precarious spot. They had to commit to the site. They just had no opportunities to frag right back. Godsent get to 11 first. FaZe do reinvest in with that additional money from the bomb plant. They get a couple of Galils out, the AK as well, and Deagles to surround it.
Right now, it is all about getting past this one round for Godsent. This one round can be so daunting. It's one of the most difficult ones, actually, in the game if you're the CT side. Rain creeping inwards, making significant inroads towards the A site, where it seemed like Godsent have anticipated the soon-to-be-had presence of visitors who are very unwelcome, and Rain is dinked up, but he does still get the trade immediately. Now the question is, do FaZe Clan go for the same sort of yo-yo tactics as they've lost a lot of HP on 2 players? Oh, Martin just jumped through that smoke. Kirby, in the meanwhile, with a deagle, sees a player with an MP9. That's Zen being tagged up, but not brought down. And with this, the call's been made. Nico's the only one around the corner, and Crystal's brought him down. Picks up the Galil for his trouble as well. Zen is coming through from mid, and he'll be trying to find them in the meanwhile, but Crystal is already rotated over. The smoke is very well placed, and Zen finds one, almost getting one on the cross is Crystal, but they will be able to make their way over safely and get the bomb planted. No utility, and Cold Zara has found Crystal. With just 15 HP, he is still a monster. Stiko and Zen, in the meanwhile, coming through from the coffins, and the Molotov is perfectly timed. Brooky forces them to segregate and split up, but Zen has found one, and they've moved past the Molotov. In they go. Zen's got another, and they've isolated, and Brooky has fallen. Zen with 4 kills to his name, and a kit as well to defuse. Look at that. That's finally a nice little reaction we've got for ourselves.
I mean, Zen is so low HP. Stiko saw how far he was committing into the fight. He takes so much damage from the Molotov, so they get very wounded up in the fight. Zen, that rotation through middle, catching Kierby out, and then just jumping at them with the MP9. The wide swing faces, they couldn't deal with him. And that a lot of that comes down to just how wounded and battered and bruised FaZe were in taking those initial duels. Sure, they got that significant more firepower or more manpower to implement in the late stages of the round. But when the MP9s are aplenty, it's still so dangerous.
Oh, okay. That's a new way of reloading, guys. You just keep a player with you and chuck a gun over there.
For you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dual ammunition system. The DAS. Crystal. Oh. Some wallbangs coming in. Lines up the crack nicely while FaZe Clan have taken back in control. Godsent more than happy to give it up to them. They do have the Molotovs that they need to go for a boiler molly, which is generally what they like to do to retake mid. Although it seems like they might not need it at this stage. A B-side hit is in the cards for FaZe Clan, and a smoke's been perfectly placed. Modern doesn't have any utility, but he does at least provide another body to be torn at. Crystal's got himself an M4A4, as Modern will let him take first contact.
Smoke down CT. The counter flashes are delaying FaZe here as the rotations come through. Quick shot there from Rain. Madden going to go initially unclear. The spam from Farley, it connects on so many and it draws the attention away that Madden can get one. But the site's been lost and cold. Doubles down for a couple on the Deeg.
Farley now from the side. Waits for the smoke to dissipate and the timing's perfect. He's denied the bomb and great transferred onto Rain. That is gorgeous stuff right there. 13-5. Godsent are not going to let FaZe have a chance to come back into it. Yes, it's finally the first gun round, and yes, Goldzera does have some great deagle shots. We see them right here. But it is still all falling at the end of the day. He's had a killer series so far.
Where there's good, there's often bad, and we haven't really touched on it yet, but Kjaerbye's 3-13. He's been doing a much better job as of late in recent games that they've played, but he's just not finding impact in this series. More so on this last map, a pivotal point. Crystal up close on towards logs, it's damage, but no frag. Kjaerbye getting another one registered to his name. Madden's still fighting for top banana control. He's called for rotations in. The smoke will be timely. It may buy him a bit more room, but they're hunting. They even know that he wants to fall back to the site, and they deny him that safety.
3 versus 4. Godsent. They have found so many advantages for themselves. Can they do it without one? Rotations not coming in. They are relying on individual players to step up, but more than anything else, they're relying on FaZe Clan to slow things down and not go for a play without information. FaZe Clan have had the fear of Godsent struck into their hearts. FaZe are lining up some utility for that B-bomb site. Farley is positioned aptly. Flashbang will force him off the angle, and as he backs off, he will be seen. He will be spotted. Re-peeking out. Can he find anything? No, he can't. Kjaerbye has stepped up in this round. 4 kills to his name, more than doubled his skill score. And he does so with style. You mentioned how he's not had the best of games, and he comes through to deliver.
Well, if I can get that kind of call and response, I'll happily call people out all the time. What a round there from Kjaerbye. Solid entries towards banana, fakes things out towards B, but even just finds all the kills necessary to bring the round over. Really good work from them, and that means that Godsent don't have an investment into this round. Just USPs, a singular flash primed in Crystal's hands, and it's going to be a gimmicky push, but one that FaZe may not fall victim to. There's nobody really on the receiving end where that flash is primed for.
The flash goes out. Farley. Be careful as they barrel down, and it will just be a nice little spray down.
Very clean.
Oh, clean as can be. Only a single player losing any HP, and, you know, who cares about that? That's fine. You're going to get it back in the next round anyway, as Crystal will not find a kill. Yes, there's a dink. Yes, there's another one, but at the end of the day, all 5 players kept alive for FaZe time. And still not actually having money on the CT side to buy properly, so this is probably going to be another save or a half buy at best.
All right. You mean you discussed this? We were in the picture-in-picture when you're looking at the Nips Sprout game. I guess that comes into question once again. Not in hero AWP for Godsent.
He did this yesterday as well, actually. They were somewhat successful with it, but it's just an interesting decision at this particular point, and Modern takes the peek down B. Now, the great thing about this is that he's given them information that they have an op. So FaZe will now have to give them the respect of a full buy. So the way they're going to play is going to be very heavily hinged around smoking certain angles off, which you don't want to against pistols. So there are certain possibilities that are opened up. So maybe, just maybe FaZe kind of get into their own heads a bit. We'll have to see, though. Nico's lining up the nade for CT spawn. Does a lot of damage on both Crystal and Farley.
Yeah, very well timed. It's just as they were committing to the boost. And they're not deterred. They spot the AWP and they barrel straight towards its last known location. They don't clear the boost. Crystal, that's an easy frag to find. He hasn't even fallen off yet. Still fancying a gander, and Farlig swinging wide with the USP. A man up as FaZe take the site, but they're all contained within the bomb site, so no realistic post plans. They have to just play off each other's contact.
And they don't have any more smoke, so they can't actually obscure sight lines for the AWP. So if the pistols start to come in, Mada knows there's no one towards Banana. Stiko's already found one. It's just Cold and Rain left alone. And Cole's found one, yes, but he's revealed his position. With that, Rain is forced outwards. Rain is spotted and brought down. This is so beautifully done.
Oh.
Cold has to clutch it out in a 1v1 versus the off. He's trying to go for it, but Martin misses his shot. Martin goes for it again, and it's Cold all day with the ace. How many of these are we going to see? It seems like all they need is for one of these players to come through and make it work, and who better than Cold Zera?
Yeah, keeps his head cool in a crucial moment. That round could have spiraled out of control off of that heroic AWP. Wasn't able to find as much impact in the late round situation, but that pressure was applied. The pistols finding shots, as Godsent so often finds success with. Now on a full investment. You can see Madden onto an MP9 as a result of the round prior. They want to fight for a bit of banana control. FaZe, fast play through middle instead. Farlig on the AWP is going to get smoked off, and Madden gets hard cleared. So Farlig's alone on the site. They're bypassing him altogether, though, through spawn.
Well, Zen is still a big threat if you want to go for this route, though, Michael. FaZe clan, they have frozen themselves in. They're expecting a push to come through, but Godsent are wise to this. Their positioning is ideal for a rotate, and they're saying until Farlig sees someone, they will not commit. And FaZe is getting antsy. FaZe is starting to move over. A flashbang is chucked through as well. With this, the CTs realize that archers are still occupied. Farlig just has to focus down towards short as he peeks out once again just to see if he can get a quick kill. And he does put out the arm, but he dodges the flash instead in the meanwhile. Secondary flash isn't there, and Farlig can find a kill because of it. And a second one. Does he realize there's a player in graveyard? No, he doesn't, and that'll be his bane. Rain to bring him down. Stiko now coming through on the crawl up short. He could maybe cut off Rain. Rain isn't in a safe position just yet, and with the flashbang, he won't have time to proceed backwards either. Rain, though, has still found one, and with this, Stiko has to step up massively. Zen doesn't have HP, and Stiko almost finds the angle. Yes, he does. Brooky brought down. Only Cold Zero left. 1 versus 2 bomb is spotted for him, and he's revealed his position, leaving it all down to Zen. Beautiful flashbang will let him peek forward. Zen, though, has to get the double dink, and Cold, all he has to do is get a kick to the shin. And there isn't time. Zen's backed off. He doesn't have a kit. There's no way to win this one out. Cold, again, stepping up when FaZe need him the most.
Yeah, it's only the 1 kill. You actually maybe call into question he should be holding for a position like that if his teammate's going to uncrouch into an angle that Stiko could be holding. But at the very least, he gets the kill that they required. Another round for FaZe, but it's a costly one, especially with Farlig being isolated on the site in towards pit. The fact he gets 2 and stays alive for that amount of time, that's about all you can ask from him.
Yeah. Like, Godsent play in a 4 versus 5, that's still very well played by Godsent. At the end of it all, FaZe is built out with a few great kills from Rain, and Cold getting the 1 versus 2 out in his favor, but you're still in a dicey situation. Fortunately for them, dicey is good. Dicey is great. Dicey means the economy of CTs is going to be pretty weak. Godsent bringing 4 players back towards the A-bomb side early on, and with Zen being one of them, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a flashbang of his being used to take control over Boiler. And that's the nade to go in initially. Rain is tagged up just enough so that the Farlig headshot would give him a immediate kill. Flashbang dodge. Farlig sees him, can't land the headshot. Instead, it's Zen to come through with 1 onto Cold. Now Farlig wants to pursue down Rain, but they're rotating back and going for the retake potentially, or if they can stop the bomb from crossing, that would be fantastic. 2 guns have been recovered. Crystal doesn't actually have armor. Would love to see him pass that over to Stico, but he's too far away. Now, Kirby's been tagged up to the wall. Stico will fall. Rain to escort him, but now they know that the bomb's being planted. There's 2 players on the bomb site who are only going to be able to find maybe a small angle, and Kirby has discovered it. 2 kills so far. He's going to be going for more, but he can't get it. Crystal ducks out of his aim, and Nico and Rain will save it all. 10th round on the board for FaZe as they clutch at double digits. It is getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, Rain with some really high impact frags. The kill at the end, the siphoning off the rotation as well, making sure that the banana flank couldn't be realized there for Godsent. And Kirby has found a bit more efficacy now on this T side.
Really been stepping up ever since you mentioned it. Kirby now though. Ooh. Nade's gonna be pretty. It's very pretty if you're a fan of FaZe.
Oh my goodness.
Kirby himself. That is just utility damage all over the place.
Yeah.
Big nade now for FaZe.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, there's another one. All right, Kirby hasn't been given a fair fight. Bursted down by frags, Molotovs. He'd extinguished one and then backed himself into another one. Not a fun way to start the round if you're Kirby. And Nico's not unscathed either. Seems like Madden wants to go for a peek around the smoke. They're lining up utility. Okay, Cold is holding for it. So that's a easy entry there for FaZe, and they accelerate off the back of it.
Rain isn't caught out by the new Bucks player, and he will be mollied out. Crystal to fall, Nico to find Zen through the smoke, and Godsent are back on the save. FaZe clan take over, and Cold has been killing it so far in these past few rounds. Again and again, we've seen him clutching it out. Ever since the ace came in versus Martin's lonely AWP, it seems like something in him has just turned on. This round again saves the day. Martin, if he walks through the smoke there, there's no telling what he can get done. Stico at least will find Rain, and with him, maybe upgrade to an AK. Even doesn't want to go for that. Okay, he does. Okay, he's fine. For a second there, I thought...
Sorry, yeah. That was just very confusing from Rain. I mean, usually you see him in really being slow about how he's clearing angles. He's pretty procedural in the way he shoots, but he's just flurrying his mouse about trying to spot people out. I really questioned if the lower third was telling us who we were spectating was correct.
Sometimes you gotta let loose, you know? Rains just want to have fun. That's what the song was, right? And now Godsent, they're singing a different tune. They're singing a tune of economic and financial deficit. They're trying to figure out how. Oh, wow.
Jeez,
but yeah.
Okay.
So that's telling of how his game had been going so far. But I do still want to talk about the decision from Godsent over here. They are not going to go for a full committed, and this is very different to what we've seen so far against Big, even against FaZe on Mirage. In pressure situations, Godsent do fully buy up, and right now I wouldn't even blame them for it. Stico can drop, Farley can drop. They wouldn't have a terrible buy, but one with very little utility.
No. With the timeout now gone, and a limited investment in from Godsent, is there an answer? Because FaZe are chugging away at these rounds. Farlig, deep peek. Kirby hits the deck early again. Nico's been naded down. They'll spotted where Farlig was. Do they rotate around it? The last time Madden had found that pick over towards B, he rotated back towards A, and FaZe still committed to a B side execute. This time, the rotations seem to work in Godsent's favor. They do reinforce that A bomb site.
Godsent's maybe looking to start aggressing forward, though. With the smoke down, they know they can try and set up for a pop through. Nade is there, but Rain and Brooky have both punished the aggression that comes in. Crystal maybe hoping to find something by going through the smoke, but instead he has just been able to do absolutely nothing. Zen to fall as well in the meanwhile, and this will be it. Godsent will lose this run out. Farlig will save his AWP at the very least, so their economic concerns might not continue to the same extent, but this is getting very, very worrisome. You start off 10-5 up after a well, you start off 10-3 up really after a masterful terrorist side where Crystal is reading FaZe at every single point. And now what's happening is FaZe aren't even going for any big, executes. They're not really going for any massive scale adjustment from one bomb side to the other. This is just them comfortably clearing out angles, comfortably walking through, getting some good flashes in, having their fundamentals down perfectly, and getting some kills.
Yeah, Farlig's not out of the woods yet. Does find Cold. Nico is around the corner as well, though, so that ult will be taken out. Of course, they can throw bodies at the problem. They've got money to spare here on FaZe as they've gotten consecutive rounds in a row. This would be crushing for Godsent. If they were to concede this one, sure, they still would have made it through towards the playoff stages. But after conceding such a grueling, close battle against Big on this very same map, similar types of storylines we were talking about, Godsent were in the lead and then Big make the big comeback. FaZe are doing a similar venture. It's Nico, a different approach, deep in the middle, but Nico's prepared.
They're expecting the flashbang to come in, and Nico can't really find them. And with that, they've already lost a man. Rotations are instant back towards the A bomb site, but it seems like FaZe are still vying for territory on B. Zen, inside apartments, waiting for them to creep forward. He heard the step up, but he's also heard him fall back down. It all comes down to Crystal on this B bomb site. He has help coming over, but it's only Martin who doesn't have a nade, doesn't have a Molotov. How are you going to deal with this push from FaZe Clan? Out-aiming them and out-dueling them has not been a choice so far. Smoke goes forward. Martin as well with a flashbang to try and help. Martin will move through. He finds one, can't make it two, switches out guns, and it's too soon. But Crystal has connected. He's transferred on to Brooky. And with that, it's back to a 2v2. Doable circumstances indeed, but Godsent, without a kit, have to speed things up. Flashbang is good. It forces Nico to stop planting, and Farlig's been given enough space to have Zen boost it up and finding Nico. It leaves Coles there alone. How many clutches has he won so far? Is this going to be another one of them? That's the question we have to ask ourselves as Cold realizes there's a bear gone over the banana. Cold reveals his position, repositions back to new box. Will be able to peek out if he wants to. Knows that it might be an AWP. Farlig's the last one alive, and he hasn't had time to switch out weapons if he wanted to. Farlig getting up close and personal. Will not take the peek before, and he's scoped in. Does so beautifully. Will he be able to get the defuse in time? We saw such a similar situation yesterday as well. At the exact same place, and they got it. Do they? Do they? It's so close.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Close. Oh, flashbacks to Big Clan. Flashbacks to Big Clan. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's the same position. It's Farlig instead, but it is oh so close. I was confident, you were shaking. It was the other way around yesterday. Oh, my heart can only take so much of it. Godsent finally break a string of rounds of FaZe have mustered together. Of course, with those back-to-back-to-back rounds from FaZe, they can reinvest comfortably. And that was really opening up for Cold. They just had no idea where he was, especially because they got away on that boost kill on Nico.
Flashbang forwards, and will realize that despite the smoke coming out towards the Archer's side of mid, there is indeed no one from the terrorist side who has crept up too close. And with that safety secured, a secondary flashbang will guarantee on the peak. Now, Farlig on that B bomb side is very, very lonely. And with a nade being used, he needs rotations over swiftly. They do have flashes, but not very many of them. So the smoke is very well placed if they've already used the flashbang over. Farlig repositions, moves back. The Ts have used a lot of utility, but the CTs are not falling for it. FaZe has been red. Godsent are not budging an inch. Rain will start to move in. If he goes down, maybe FaZe still go back for the B bomb side, but even then he needs to get the information first, and Smoke being right in front of him will deny that very thing.
Seconds, another smoke through middle. Yeah, backing away to B seems to be the call. It's buying so much time with the utility. Martin's even sitting in the smoke in mid, so If they'd made steps, they would have known. 30 seconds. Farlig missing the first phase with the AWP. Zen there with the rifle to cover. He's doubled up. He's found 2 frags, but eventually he's tracked down, and Farlig smoked off. Madden is hot on their heels. They may not expect this to be so quick on the flank. Madden may catch them off guard. The spam from Nico actually denies the Madden impact, so they don't even know that he's up close in this position. They spot the head of Cold as well. This is lining up wonderfully for Godsent. Missed shot from Brooky. Cold, can he do it? No, he cannot. Farlig, the last kill there for Godsent. They get to 15. FaZe still trapped at 12. That will be a number that sits in the back of their mind for now, because they need to get 3 more straight to just force an overtime.
What a way to get to match point as well for Godsent. They do it with the same way they were able to get an advantage initially, with Crystal calling a fantastic round. Godsent stick on the A bomb site long enough that FaZe clan cannot commit to it anymore. And Godsent, the reason why they still have utility that late in the round is because they've had so many players there that they're fine with it. Now, FaZe, they're going for a faster play, maybe towards second mid, but look at this from Godsent. They've gone for full banana control, so they have all the ideas in the world, and they've already positioned so much more defensively because of it. Nico playing from balcony, and Farlig is just watching for an archer's push before coming back to reinforce. Nico's already found one. A flashbang over will assist him in maybe getting back to pit as well. This is so difficult, but Rain has at least given them the equalizer. But look at Zen. Look at Zen. He's crept in, but he can't creep into them. Can't get the kills, and Crystal will have to step up because of it. The smoke is awkwardly placed, but he's found the kill nonetheless. Cold's there to fall. Farlig to land another one. Farlig to keep on fighting, but he can't get the second. Crystal playing around these smokes perfectly. He has the bomb in his possession, waiting for them to come try and retrieve it. Crystal nicely placed aim and gets another. He's leading by example, and Kirby's left alone. 15 HP is all he has. Martin in the 1 versus 1 locates him, and Godsent will take it away.
16 to 12. They lock them down. They break past that mental block that seems to plague them on Inferno in crucial moments. It's site hold, the B bomb site. They get faster rotations over that direction. Now over towards A. It's Crystal on a fast rotation. He's throwing utility. He's trying desperately to help his teammates out, and it's just enough. It's a 3-mapper. It's a close one, but Godsent prevailed.
And what a way to do it as well. Godsent. It all comes off of the brains. Yes, they've got the plays. They've got the aces. This series had everything. It had everything. But at the end of it all, it comes down to Crystal on his own. Magnificent calling, but that last round by him was individually brilliant. Some great stuff to be seen, and with that, we've got to share the action. We've got to share the love, because I'm sure an analysis team will be coming in over here with a lot of things to talk about. A couple of predictions might have just gone awry. Now he's saying, Matthew, over to you after a short break.
A full 3 mappers to be closing out the day, and a reverse sweep to stun in this series for Godsent. 16-12 and a ticket straight to the playoff upper bracket on Monday against none other than Astralis. Maui and Maniac are here to dissect every second of the action, and much like the storyline on Nuke Maui, another great T-side to be kicking things off on Inferno here for Godsent.
Yeah, Godsent's T-side was nothing really special in terms of what they did, but they just did it well. They took banana control very consistently against FaZe, and because of that, it opened up the entire map. Whether they wanted to go back to do an A execute or just do a simple B execute, really, the entire map was Godsent's playground on that T-side, and it makes you wonder about FaZe's kind of level of complacency, that they're really pretty willing to give up that sort of space, and maybe they need to go back to the drawing board in terms of how do you take map control away from Godsent. Don't let them into their comfort zone.
Yeah, and then interestingly, when we're coming into that second half, FaZe had a pretty decent string of T-side rounds again. So for you, Maniac, what was the turning point for Godsent in order for them to just be closing that one out?
I mean, you're absolutely right. The second half was a wake-up call, for FaZe. You can see the ego was hurt a little bit. They started digging into the strat book. They used some of these CT spawn take, freezing the round for 30, 45 seconds. We're watching this thinking, wow, okay, now we've reached the point where FaZe are activated. But these were the clutches that were the difference maker for Godsent. 100% we had the Farlig 1v1 versus coldzera. He defuses the bomb with maybe 0.5 seconds at the very end. And then the 16th as well, Crystal dancing in the smokes on the A-bomb side. So these very, very narrow clutches at the very end was what tipped it over for Godsent.
And I know you highlighted him before this specific map, Maui, but Farlig, he really, really stepped up to deliver in this map. What was his kind of impact and where was he having his impact within the map?
I felt like it was everywhere, actually. On the CT side, he did incredibly well. I think he had 14 kills for them on that side of the map. And on T side, he got 10 kills. And not all of those were with the op, which we normally do expect from Farlig, but he was just a really solid piece for them in terms of getting into the bomb sites, clutching out some of the rounds in those kind of 2v2, 3v3 sort of situations. Farlig was doing an excellent job at just being a very consistent player for them. And it never really felt like he was making any mistakes, whereas other people on his team started taking some maybe unnecessary risks. Farlig was always there behind them to make sure things got cleaned up.
And I think we can take a look at our updated bracket as we round off our group stage here at DreamHack Open 4. Of course, that doesn't mean the end of everything. We've got the playoffs next week and they are sure to be bringing the heat. But just taking a look at these groups for one last time, Maniac. I know we were talking about Group A really being that group of death. Definitely proved to be as Mousesports were eliminated. But any other surprises for you in terms of the final standings for these?
I guess two names pop up. We have Heroic being sent to the lower bracket as well through Group B, a team again that's been on the up and up, having some great results recently, and obviously what we've just witnessed, FaZe Clan in the lower bracket as well. So for Sprout, I'm just realizing Sprout are going to battle versus Heroic, OG FaZe Clan in that lower bracket. That's not going to be an easy journey.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Indeed, I did just want to pick up upon that NIP versus Sprout game, obviously ending 2-1, again going to that full 3 maps. Maui, you were saying it though, you were confident that NIP were going to be closing out on that Inferno, and they did, 16-11.
Yeah, Godsent did a great job. Or, I'm sorry, wait. Godsent?
Oh, NIP. Sorry.
NIP.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's been a long day, a lot of Counter-Strike, a lot of rounds, a lot of maps.
No, sorry, I know. Yeah, Sprout just couldn't pull through there. NIP, we questioned them just a little bit because this is the first game that they have, or first tournament that they have knockback. Threat was standing in for them, but he looks like he's slotting in very well. I think he actually did incredibly well today for them, but that was on the other stream, of course.
Yeah, he did indeed. Of course, we can take a look at the bracket for next week. This is going to be an absolutely huge one to be kicking things off. Taking a look at those upper bracket games. Man, this is the first time I've laid my eyes on all of the games. Astralis versus Godsent, obviously we knew. North versus Fnatic. Big versus G2 Esports, and Vitality versus NIP for those upper brackets. Of course, if those teams are losing, they'll be going down into the lower brackets to face our 4 remaining teams. And then we'll, of course, have the placement matches because this is an RMR event. The points really do matter here. But Maniac, I'm interested to hear from you first of all. Any of those matches there really piquing your interest?
Honestly, Big versus G2, if I'm not mistaken, that was a grand final in the summer. I remember being in Copenhagen, casting that grand final, or rather analyzing that grand final, and it absolutely delivered. That was at the beginning of the kingdom of Big in this online era of Counter-Strike, and they really shocked me in a good way. I remember Surson being so impressive with the AWP going toe-to-toe, not even toe-to-toe, just straight up destroying Kenny S in that grand final. So Big versus G2 would be my go-to in these games.
What about you, Maui? Anything you're really looking forward to for next week?
Ooh, next week, I think whatever happens to get to the second round of the upper bracket, which I would assume would probably be, so if everything goes according to plan, Astralis versus Fnatic in that upper bracket round 2, that's the matchup that I'm really looking forward to because Astralis is in excellent form right now, but Fnatic, I mean, I've been saying it all weekend that they're my pick to win the whole tournament. So I am really, a lot of my, I guess, metaphorical money is on the line for this one.
No bias though. No analyst bias coming to this one.
Of course not. No, I'm gonna call it as it is when it happens.
I It's interesting though, speaking about this, because obviously with this result from the Godsent versus FaZe matchup, puts them against Astralis Maniac. That is an entirely different caliber of opponent. Sure, we're still seeing Glaive warming up, still got S-Attack in there, even though he's departing to Cloud9, but I think that's going to be a real test for them.
Yeah, it really is. And I started this matchup today saying, Godsent should not make it through FaZe, but we should be aware of that. There can be surprises. And I feel like Godsent have deserved the right to be considered a possibility. Now, the problem is, I don't think that Astralis is going to make the same mistake as FaZe, just giving them the space, letting them execute, letting them go through the motions of plan A. I do believe Astralis will realize that you have to be in their faces just a little bit, push them out of their comfort zone, and they definitely have the players to do so. So I don't expect Godsent to have that same kind of space. And this is where we're going to see probably some cracks in the wall. But then again, today, they've deserved the win. There's nothing to say against it. They beat FaZe to their own game. So we're going to have to see versus Astralis.
Well, I believe we're going to get the opportunity to speak with the one and only Zen, as this sound may give us. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Congratulations on that win.
Yo, hello.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Sorry, I was
We're just saying congratulations on your win there, Zen. I do want to ask those sort of final moments of Inferno, because we did see FaZe starting to come back a little bit. What was your key focus to just be closing out that map?
The key focus was the difference between yesterday and today. Yesterday, we kind of tunnel visioned and dropped our aggressive style on CT. We shifted back to playing more defaulty and slow style. And now we actually talked there that what we can learn from yesterday is just to do the moves. Don't play passive. Even though you have a lead and you want to play safe, just keep on going. Keep the pressure up. Put them in a hard spot. Basically that.
I wanted to ask about your utility usage, because it's been very impressive to me. Was it a special preparation for FaZe, or is it just a topic in general that you try to improve, because it's been on point?
It's just default for us or me, whichever you meant. But we go through a lot of scenarios together, that how we can maximize the efforts of using grenades, because I think they're really underrated. To be honest, there is so many different things that you haven't even seen from us when it comes to utility. So this is just a normal thing for us, and yeah.
All right. And this is probably a slightly more personal question, but we noticed from the webcam that you're incredibly expressive, and it feels like you're one of the hype guys for your team. But it seems like the normal Finnish players are super stone cold. Do you think there's any? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that you may be so much more expressive?
It's really hard to talk about why everyone is more shy. I know my countrymen. People are more not that talkative and not so vocal. It's just, I don't know, it's in our blood or something to be more cool and collective. But if I would be like that, sometimes the mood in our games could be like graveyard or something like this. So I know that if I hype up people and I have a good game, or I do like a hero play, or anyone does, and I'm pumping them up, it's just a good thing. It's just, yeah.
I absolutely love that you're the hype man for Godsent there. And obviously going into Monday's matchup, you're going to be facing up against Astralis in that upper bracket playoff match. Obviously you've got tomorrow to prepare. So what do you kind of make of Astralis at the moment, and what is your preparation going to be focusing on tomorrow going into Monday?
We haven't thought about it yet, because we didn't know actually who we face. But now, since we know it, I don't know. I don't want to tell too many details, so we actually have a good game plan against them.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how you two are going to be stacking up. Zen, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and massive congratulations.
No
on
problem,
that win
man. Thank you.
Always lovely to end it out with Zen on a broadcast. Fantastic player, and obviously showed up in that matchup as well. But I think it is about time to get into our top 5 plays of the day. Obviously, this is for day 3, and there was a lot to be talking about from this one, wasn't there, Maniac? Do you want to kick us off with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of great actions, and we kick off with Golden, I believe. No, it's not. It's actually Godsent. And made the 1v3. Oh my god, the cross placement. We talked about it. Look at this. How quick that is. No movement here as well. There's a little bit of Nico into him as well. He's just cross placement on point.
Oh yeah, and here's Nico, the Danish one, of course, with his own 1v3 on the pistol round. And this is with a Glock with 19 HP, but he plays this flank perfectly. Excellent headshots across the board. 3 to close that one out.
Then we have here, I believe, Nico with the AK making work, making pace. Oh, that was the 2 versus 4. I remember this round was absolutely insane, and Nico clutched it at the very end.
Oh, and this was the hero op from Farlig. The rest of his team had USPs, but he was able to save this gun from the previous round. And that's why it's so important. When you see those oppers running away sometimes, it makes a difference.
And of course, it could only be the one and only Flusha coming in here with a 1v4 4K against the men of OG. He really turned up to show everybody up today, didn't he, Maui?
Oh yeah, Flusha was spectacular. I was in the green room just going absolutely crazy every time he made any sort of play whatsoever. It's just like, okay, he throws a good nade and I'm just, oh my God, Flusha. But that was him actually with very deserved play there, 1v4. And that was just so necessary because that game was neck and neck all the way through.
It was indeed. And I think with that, we can announce our DTS Player of the Day. Maniac, I'll give you the pleasure of doing this one today.
Well, I am very honored, and it ties up perfectly because it is going to be Flusha Senior Vac, the player of the day. And he's been so crisp with his aim, the feelings in the clutches, always knowing what to do, pulling rabbits out of his hat, infinite rabbits out of the infinite hat from Flusha. He's been having a Renaissance tournament right here. His stats are pretty good. He's leading the charge for his team, and he was a key element today. And I'm just like Maui. I think I'm an easy fan, and I get excited very fast when he does something great. But at the same time, you gotta respect the man.
You know what? A big determining factor in this gentleman was definitely him actually getting that nice kill. He went for it on Inferno, but then manages to get one in Connector on Overpass. That's just fantastic stuff there all day from Flusha. And of course, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Intel, Monster Energy, Corsair, DTS, and of course, MSI. Thank you so much for joining us for day 3 here of DreamHack Open 4. We're going to be having a little bit of a break, but we will be back on Monday at the slightly earlier time of 12:30 p.m. CEST. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on board today. We'll see you on Monday for some more great Counter-Strike action.